Hi there, this is Aaron. Today is Saturday the 5th of March and it's day 4 of 2016 on the allotment. Well, the sun's shining now, and when I got here everything was fine, and then it's been hail followed by sunshine, followed by rain, followed by wind. It's really been a very unpredictable day, but we're here and we're getting cracking. Now, at the moment there's not actually that much to see down here because I've got it all to do. But what I wanted to do with you with this video was to share what my plans for the year are going to be. And sort of now is the right time for anybody to turn around and say, actually, I wouldn't do that and I'd do something else. But I wanted to share it all with you. So let's take a look around. Well, the first thing is all these raspberry canes. Now, throughout the year, once the fruit had started to come through on the currants, and these had started to grow, I couldn't fight my way through these to pick the fruit, so a lot of it was wasted. Now, I think what's happened is that when everything was planted, this was very small, and so it was easy to get in and out, but now it's not possible. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to dig out these raspberry canes. Now, ideally what I want to do is to create a corridor in here, which means pulling out the currants on this side and then placing them either side so that I've got a place to walk through. Now, I know that I've only got a short amount of time to do that, and I'll show you the reason why. So here are the currants. Now, if I look, now these buds have not started to blister yet, and as soon as they do, that means it's too late to move it. Now, I think they are going to blister probably in the next week, 2 weeks at the most, but I mean they're definitely ready, and once that starts you can't move them. So what I might be forced to do is to actually leave these currants, only get rid of the raspberries, leave the currants, and then in the autumn, once everything starts to go to sleep, then to move them then. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if I do get the chance to move these, I will. But as you're about to see, there's an awful lot more that I need to do. Well, this shed has been absolutely brilliant, but where it's positioned, I do have some space actually behind me, and it's a real shame because the shed casts a shadow over this ground, so I can't use it to its fullest extent. Now, I have a couple of options. One would be that I plant something that's really tall, maybe like a plum tree, but that's not actually what I'm going to do. I have a plan that what I want to do is to move this shed backwards, right to the back, and build up the ground there and put some paving slabs down. I need to get some paving slabs, and then what to do is that I have a small greenhouse. This is an aluminium greenhouse, and I'm going to try to put the greenhouse onto the front of the shed. Now, this shed is 4 by 3 feet. The greenhouse is also 4 by 3 feet. In the rules it says I am allowed one structure that is no more than 8 by 6 feet. So if I can fit the two of them together, that is 8 by 6, and I think that will stay within the rules. Now, I'm not allowed any glass structures, so this is polycarbonate glass, so that it can't smash and leave shards around. So I think I'm actually going to get away with that. It's going to be a bit of an undertaking, and I've never moved a shed before, so that's going to be quite an experience. But I think that what that will do will be to use the space in the best possible way. So let me show you where it's going to be. This area will become the shed where I'm standing now. In front of that will be the greenhouse, and then I think along the sides of the greenhouse I'm actually going to build some compost bays. That means so that wind coming in from the two sides will have that in front of it as well, because I think the whole idea is to provide as much buffering and as much protection for the greenhouse as possible. So I know I've got to keep it low because I want the sun to be able to come in, But you see now it's 1 o'clock and the sun is right up there, so that then that will make it really beautiful for the crops to grow. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got the greenhouse. I need to find some paving slabs, and that's proving quite difficult. But once I've got that, then I can get the rest of it done. Here it is again. This is my pride and joy, my rhubarb. It's coming again, and it looks as if it's just going to be as impressive as last year. I feel so lucky about this. This year I'm hoping to make some rhubarb wine, so we'll film that experience as we go through it. But this has been absolutely gorgeous. This was the best thing on the plot last year, and I hope that it's just one of the good things this year. So in answer to the question, what difference possibly could grow lights make with early season crops? Well, this is some garlic that I planted at exactly the same time as the garlic that I've had under lights. And it's just been sat here really. So it's encountered all of the cold weather. Now it's garlic, so it doesn't mind cold weather. But what it hasn't had is the intense light that the grow lights have given it. And as you can see, there's no comparison. If we look at the two of them side by side, there's one that is ready to plant out and just start to grow into really impressive plants, and then there's this that has barely got started. So I'm definitely sold on grow lights, and I think I'm going to try and expand that as much as I possibly can. So then, with this shed moved right the way back, the greenhouse in front, this suddenly becomes a whole new bed that I can use. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to use the bench as something to buffer the greenhouse as well. Obviously this will have to move because I'm planning on putting the greenhouse on the front here. Everything's moved back. So this will have to move. There's a lot of rubbish here I can get rid of. There's a lot of stuff here I don't use. If I don't bring the bench out to be strength for the greenhouse, what I will do is I'll move it right up the top. So that then we can sit down and enjoy the evenings. Well, as you can see, I've started to get the beds dug. I've used that technique of turning it and then really sifting the soil, breaking it up, pulling out any couch grass that I can find. I've been doing this enough times now that I recognise couch grass when I can see it. I recognise mare's tail when I see it, and unfortunately I'm seeing it rather a lot. Yeah, I do recognise those perennial weeds now that are the real nasties, and so I do know what to pull out. We're getting it dug. This is actually going to be my allium bed for this year. I'm going to put garlic through here, and I'm going to put my onions along there. So that's all going to be fun. Now this bit hasn't really been touched, and it's currently covered. This is where my alliums were last year, and this year this is actually going to be my potatoes in buckets. And I'm not actually that bothered that this is not cleared or dug yet, because I'm going to be putting the buckets in. And then this year the big change that I'm going to do is to get loads of wood chip and put it around absolutely everything, so between all the buckets, so that it's really layered up, and hopefully that's going to keep the weeds down. This area here is really overgrown with couch grass. There is some comfrey in here which I want to keep. Now I've heard it said that it's impossible to kill comfrey, it just can't be done. So fingers crossed, I'm not going to kill the comfrey, but I am going to try and do something with the couch grass. This is also massively self-seeded with marigolds, and I know I planted marigolds last year, but I have more marigolds than I really want, or I never want to see them again currently. So I'm going to pull out all of this and level it, and then cover it in wood chip, and then next year hopefully that's going to be really nice rich ground to be able to put my beans in. So that's what we're going to do this year. Well, these are all the bags of potatoes that we've got left. I obviously grew far too many of these last year. There was something like 6 or 7 varieties. I'm sticking to 4 varieties of potatoes this year, and that's going to be Sharp O'Meara, that's going to be Kestrel, that's going to be Nadine, and that's going to be International Kidney, which I think should be a nice mix. What I do have to do is get these emptied. I have been emptying them, but there's just more potatoes than we could possibly eat. I'm going to have to be giving these away. Once that's done, and this is actually why it is quite important, is that this is going to be, here is going to be where my beans are going to go for the year. And then in front of them, that's where my brassicas and my sweet corn are going to go for the year. So I do have quite a lot of work to do here. And as soon as I've got my alliums in, the onions and the garlic, then it definitely is time to get cracking on this. That's why I haven't done the greenhouse yet, because I really need to get cracking on this. And once I've got these 2 beds done, then the rest is actually fairly easy. And if we do bring the seat up here, of a summer's evening, that's the view that we'll have. And as you can probably see, really, that's why we'll do it. This is absolutely beautiful. There's just one more thing to say, which is that next weekend, which will be the 11th and the 12th, is the Edible Garden Show, which is at Stoneleigh Park in Warwickshire, close to Leamington Spa. And I've been there for the last 2 years, and I will be there again this year. And so I'm going to be there on the Saturday. I know that there are people on the Friday, and I just can't get the time off work this year to be able to go for both days, but I'm definitely going to be there on the Saturday. So hopefully if you can make it, then please do go along, and if you see me, please do say hi. It's always nice to meet people, and I know that there are a lot of people going. I know that Julie's going to be there. Sean and Vivi, of course, going to be there on the Horticultural Channel stand. I know that Muddy Boots is going to be there, and so is Jamie from Overgrow the UK. Marina's going to be there. There's a whole host of people that are going to be there. So why don't you come along as well? So that's everything on the plot, but there's also an awful lot going on at home. So let me show you all of that. Well, here are the onions after a week. And I want to show you this because look at that. These are, they're approaching a foot. It's not quite a foot, but they are approaching a foot. Now that is absolutely amazing, and just goes to show how incredible these lights are. These are the onion sets, and I mean, they look ready to go out. And here are the seed onions as well. Now, this one's over a foot, and there's several that are over a foot. Now, these have just been watered, and again, I've used a dilute feed with the seaweed, but my goodness, I've never had anything remotely like this. This is all new territory for me, so I'm hoping that it goes very, very well. But I'm really pleased so far. They are desperate to be potted on. I've left it I thought 3 weeks would be enough. I actually need to do it right now. And so that really brings us to the end of this video. I'm going to carry on getting some digging done and getting everything ready in time. I did have somebody actually from the committee come up to me and say, do you need any help digging your plot? So I need to make a start of things and really show that I can do it, because otherwise I suspect I'm going to be in trouble, and I certainly don't want that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Allotment. Goodbye.